A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kibro. Absolutely excited that you're here for political conversations to build this country as we're progressing with President William Ruto's administration. The situation, Prof, is getting worse and worse. The president promising that it will get better soon. Petrol is up, kerosene is up, diesel is up, the cost of living is up, everything is going up, Prof. From the
yeah? And I was just, I don't know whether some of these things people think about them. Petrol goes up by 3 shillings and something. Hustlers are assumed not to be driving, okay? At least, they really hustle. Pale chini, sindio pale hapo chini. Pale tunaanzia hapo tukuja juu, hapo bottom. Wengi sio wanaendesha gari. Lakini hapo bottom wengi wanatumia nini? Mafuta taa. So petroli ya wadosi inaenda up na 3 shillings. Kerosene ya hustler inaenda up na 15 shillings. It is quite... It's not, it doesn't add up. I know there is EPRA or whatever they call them. They have their own gymnastics but there's something government can do not to portray the picture of stepping on the hustlers.
15 shillings.
15 shillings as opposed to 3 shillings ya wadosi. Wadosi wanaongezwa shilingi ngapi?
3.
Hustler anaongezwa shilingi?
15.
Mafuta ya hustler shilingi 15 juu. Mafuta ya wadosi shilingi 3 peke yake juu.
The president says they need to generate revenue. They have doubled VAT on fuel from 8% to 16%. Is this sustainable and how long can this last?
In fact, it will bring in at the very most 50 billion shillings.
Yeah.
You cannot occasion the sort of pain this VAT will bring, the sort of suffering the VAT on fuel, on oil will bring, cannot be compensated by what the government will get. The government will get about 50 billion shillings. I'm not so sure, but I think around that.
Yeah, that's
about
figure.
50
That's the figure,
billion
50
shillings.
billion.
Can you make Kenyans go through that pain with even political consequences so that you can raise 50 billion to pay cash for people just to eat?
He said everywhere he goes, people are asking for roads. This money will be used to develop roads. This is what Kenyans are asking.
Who will walk on the roads if Kenyans are dead? Remember, every time the price of oil goes up, everything else takes cue. Everything else goes up. You add the cost of fuel by 80% VAT or the entire 16% VAT, the industrialists are affected because of electricity. Because we generate part of our electricity from oil. Transport goes up. Everything else goes up. Even rent, everything goes up. I don't think it is reasonable on the part of the government to listen to the IMF blindly, because this is blind listening. I don't think the government doesn't know even the political consequences of increasing the price of fuel,
You think that is
levying VAT on
Is it really what the president
diesel.
is doing, listening to IMF?
They are,
speaking with, I think, more...
Because I can see, let me tell you,
he's not listening.
let me tell you, I've not looked at the details, but I don't know how much road development levy is, which they are removing. Would it not be wiser to leave it there, but then play the political card by removing VAT altogether? Instead of adding from 8 to 16, you remove it. You score political mileage. Now you want to add VAT, it raises so much dust and hell, but you are also removing silently, quietly, road development levy. I don't know how much it is. Where is the politics? So that's how I can conclude that they are listening to IMF and World Bank.
On gas, the president said that they cannot do anything about gas, even though he had said by June 1st, until they pass a budget, they said they are going to first deal with the gas cylinder before they go to the gas itself. Where are we going to as a country?
The president must be advised to stop over-promising, number one, and to be careful about contradictions. There's something about the masses which the president ought to know. You know, he's a scientist. He has not read literature like us and history. There is something about the masses. Once they conclude you have been taking them for a ride, the torrent that you'll face, you'll not believe it. Advisors must tell the president, the masses are not good people. So, one, stop over-promising. Stop being populist. Run government. Don't be populist. Even tell people the truth. The country is such an economic mess. We cannot do these roads. People will understand. Don't go everywhere and say, kutoka hapa, ipitie pale, iruke
Just give them credit.
Because Kenyans will understand the entire world has economic challenges. No country can say its economy is doing very well.
Isn't that what they have
The
been
people
saying?
will understand. So don't overpromise, number one.
Yeah.
Don't tax people during these hard times to do roads. Don't listen to the IMF, overly listen to IMF and World Bank. But finally, mind the politics. Stop contradictions. Don't tell people gas, then you change from gas to cylinder. You think you are getting away with it. The president should talk to me. I know about masses. You'll get away with this one of it was cylinder. Then it was what? It was after budget.
Oh, yeah.
When you are saying June, you didn't know it must go through the budget. And the way you promised it, because the budget depends on parliament.
Yeah.
You didn't make it a proposal. You said, I will, from June itakuwa. That is not a person who knows you have to convince parliament. And he knows the financial year starts in July.
Which government
when you
are
unpack
looking
all
at?
that, you see, I don't want to call it lies. Let me just call it a pack of contradictions. The president must put an end to those two things. Being populist and therefore overpromising, and the contradictions.
The president now
Because the moment this is interpreted to be you are taking people for fools, you'll face the political consequences.
He has come out and told the members of his side too that I was with you on the campaign trail promising about housing. It's time for you to also agree that we promised these things together.
Yes.
What is the situation in government if there are contradictions in government from different sides, some of which people that support the president come out and say, this is the situation is bad?
Let me tell you about housing. Nobody believes in this thing. Even his own government, nobody believes in this housing thing. They can't tell him, but they don't believe in it. Everybody knows it's absolute nonsense. Everybody. Just like CBC. People feared to tell Uhuru that it was nonsense. And when Ruto said he was going to scrap it, I was so happy. He didn't know it has its sponsors. And I think the moment he faced the sponsors of CBC, he couldn't win against them. So he doesn't believe in it either. Yeah. This is an animal. You can't even understand what it looks like. So even this housing, the people around the president don't believe in it, but they can't tell him.
That's why he's coming out and telling them.
You see, the way he's fighting for it shows it's not something that has been well received. He even let the cat out of the bag by saying even the people around him are saying this. That's the truth. Everybody knows this nonsense.
How should he deal with this situation now of housing? Because he's pushing for it.
This is something you just shelve. It has no value. There's no logic. It doesn't make sense. I was doing some radio interview this morning and I said, look here. If something is not a tax and it's not a retirement benefit, it's not a retirement
benefit.
Under the retirement benefit, which is a legal welfare arrangement, you can put insurance. But even that doesn't quite fit there. There are only two things which you have no control over as a worker or as a Kenyan. You have no control over whether you can pay tax or not. No citizen has a say. In fact, unknown to many people, even how the taxes are used has nothing to do with whether you'll pay taxes or not. The second thing, which has been internationally accepted, the worker must be protected from the vagaries of old age. And therefore retirement is internationally accepted, is an arrangement to which workers can be forced into. So you can force somebody into a retirement benefit scheme, into a pension scheme, You can force people will be forced into taxation. Anything in between must be voluntary. Strictly speaking, even NHIF, strictly speaking, a law making NHIF comparison is unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. Because only pension and mainly tax can be forced on an employee. Anything else,
even healthcare. Don't you think the burden will go back to the government if you're not well
you know,
insured?
those are gray areas when it comes to health insurance. It's a gray area. It is always assumed that once government collects taxes, it should be able to take care of things like health.
Oh.
You see? And that's why, unless something is a retirement benefit scheme, a pension scheme, or taxation, that thing must be voluntary. And even if a law is passed, that law is unconstitutional. I'm not a lawyer. I'm wondering what lawyers do in this country.
So on this housing issue,
this is unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's illegal. You cannot force somebody into a house. Somebody is working in Mandera. When he has a house, he's even a nomad. They never, where he comes from, they never build permanent houses. So you want a house for him how? You want to buy him a house in Nairobi. He has never been to Nairobi. He will never be to Nairobi. Somebody is in Luombe with his small house like me, a small little house. Why do you want to force me to have a house in Nairobi? Somebody is my age. He's about to retire. Actually, I'm retired in another 1 year or 2 years. Why would I pay for a housing? People have already committed their pay slips. Teachers especially. Does the president understand really what teachers go through, how much they earn? I am telling you, we have, I don't know how many teachers in this country, I can't remember. But if you can, and I want somebody to tell the president this. If you can give me 10,000 teachers in this country who earn more than 10,000 net, I'm willing to bet with my life you will not get. People who, ati mwisha mwezi 1 to 10,000 mshahara yake kwa payslip na ni mwalimu, you won't get them. People earning 2,000, 1,800, 600, 0. Hii mshahara wa walimu ni pesa kidogo. Teachers earn very little money. Once they have gone through the deductions, statutory, NHIF, NSSF, pay as you earn, whatever else, then SACCO. Kaloni kidogo alichukua akajenga kanyumba. Mtu anabaki na 3,000.
So you won't get the 3%.
To try to go for a teacher's payslip, even for 200, is being very inhuman. And I'm telling the president, that's why teachers are up in arms. Because I understand. I understand. The ordinary civil service, the ordinary public servant, teachers, civil servants, and those of us working in prestatos, who have no money to steal. Other people steal because they are working where money is. Teachers, where will they steal? Choke. So Mwalimu, with his meager payslip of net 3,500, you want to get 1,000 from. Actually, it is being inhuman.
What is the solution?
And he doesn't even need the house, first of all. And neither is it even practical that he can get that house. A teacher is 50 years. He has 10 years to go. You want to get 700 shillings from him or 1,000. It will not even get to 250,000. Which house will he ever get?
So we are doomed in this one.
No, I think the president must reconsider this.
You said
he has to.
You said this is what will bring President William Ruto down on your video.
Yes, it will. It will.
About
because
taxes.
Let me tell you, when Raila Odinga calls people to the streets, there are categories of people. There are those who immediately go. There are those who support, but for some reason they can't go. Either they are afraid, or they are vulnerable because of where they work, or things like those, or their age. Many factors, but they support. There are those who are, this government, we supported, but okay, Raila has a point. Let him speak for us. There are those who are happy. They don't support Raila, but they are happy he's push. What he's pushing, they will benefit.
Oh, yeah.
So what the president is doing now is doing two things. Removing a sizable number of people who would never have supported Raila's mass action and drawing them into Raila's side, into the mass action. And the sympathizers who still support the president but sympathize with Raila's action, they are also going up. So the net effect of this is this. Should Raila go back to the mass action, you will find demonstrations in more places in the country than you would have expected. Because teachers are in every village. And they also have a voice, my friend. In many places in this country, the teacher is the most educated person there, whether he's a P1 or whatever. He's the person people look for if they want to understand things. And that is why TSC, and I want to maybe to teach these guys a bit. Why is the TSC in the constitution? We needed to, first of all, why do you think education is not devolved? There is nowhere where we have devolved government, whatever form it takes, any federal arrangement. The first thing to devolve is always education. And even in this country, you know, if you have not devolved education, have you devolved anything? That's why governors are spending a lot of money on education, yet it's a national function. So you devolve health, you devolve education, then you devolve social services and agriculture and cultural issues. Why was it not devolved? Because teachers didn't want it. And why was that important? Because for this constitution to pass, Kibaki and Raila didn't want to confront teachers, to offend them. That's why there is this anomaly of not devolving education and of putting TSC in the constitution.
So if teachers go out in the streets and they say no to housing,
they will.
No
teachers,
to taxes.
Teachers will add fuel to these demonstrations. You see them in the villages.
Now they are watching games together, Raila and Ruto. So
now people begin to say, okay. But I would want to advise the president, leave this housing thing. We want a stable economy. We want investors to come. We don't want industrial unrest. We don't want people in the streets making noise. I've seen many clips. I don't know the president is seeing them. I've seen the most fiery one coming from Kericho. A lady who is a teachers union, Natro, one of these ones. She very eloquently speaking against this. I've seen people, village, grassroots teachers, leaders. This is something that must be shelved.
Okay.
And for many other reasons. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we had a discussion about it.
We talked about it.
Yeah, and it seems it's pinching people a little bit harder than it was. We do talk again. Thank you so much for tuning in into a political conversation, a conversation that we hope will build this country.
But Jad, before you leave, people have been asking me why we have stopped our live broadcast, live stream. Please tell them it has been difficult. We've been struggling to do it. We got to a point we couldn't. Yeah,
it's difficult to sustain live with this kind
live
of crew.
Broadcast. It calls for every time you have a live broadcast. Like I told our viewers, step in and assist us, support us. It is for things like those. You cannot do a live broadcast unless you have certain resources. So we've depleted what we have. If God blesses us with some little more money,
some manna from heaven,
not from heaven. From this world, we'll just inform them we will resume live broadcast when resources are available. So
if you want to support us, then numbers are down on the screen. Support this conversation so that we can go back to doing live. And yes, we do not take it for granted. There are still people that do support these ones that we're doing right now. We absolutely do appreciate you. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.